welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right in by doing something super simple. I want you to just sit completely still for a second. Really bring your attention entirely to yourself. Right now, in this exact moment, you're experiencing something absolutely profound and, well, you probably aren't even thinking about it. Today, we're exploring a topic that bridges the absolute smallest parts of our physical reality with some of the grandest philosophical ideas ever proposed. We're unpacking what our source material calls the wisdom in every cell and taking a deep look at the silent miracle happening inside your body right this very second.
Think about it. Right now, literally as you're listening to the sound of my voice, your heart is just constantly beating. It's pumping life through you without you ever having to consciously say, hey, beat now. Simultaneously, your cells are actively repairing themselves. Any microscopic damage, whether it's from a tiny scratch or just, the general wear and tear of living, is being fixed by an internal system that literally never sleeps. And your nerves? They're carrying endless signals back and forth at lightning speed, letting you comprehend my words, feel the temperature of the room, hold your posture, the whole shebang. You don't manage this, you don't control it. Yet the sheer volume of these complex, unseen functions is just staggering. They all operate perfectly together, serving a highly precise purpose just to keep you sitting there, breathing, and listening. Which brings us to the fundamental question of this explainer. Is this all just a coincidence? Seriously, I really want you to let your brain sit with that for a second. When we look at that massive, non-stop, hyper-coordinated internal machinery, is it just a random accident? Or is there something deeper at play? The source text we're examining today takes this question very seriously and offers a really profound philosophical framework to answer it.
Section 1. What does the third truth say? Infinite wisdom.
So this framework introduces a concept from our source text known as the third truth. This isn't just about biology anymore, right? It's about looking at biological reality as a lens for a much larger philosophical worldview. The core argument here is that the universe isn't just a random collection of parts, but rather a deliberate system operating with profound intention. I actually want to read this quote directly from the text, known as the 10th word, because it is just beautifully articulated. The power operating in this universe works with infinite wisdom. Do you want proof? The observance of benefit and purpose in everything. Man, that is incredibly powerful. The text is directly challenging us. It's saying, hey, if you want evidence of a universal infinite wisdom, you don't need to look off into the distant cosmos. You literally just need to look at the undeniable benefit, the clear purpose, embedded in every single thing right around you. It frames our biological reality, those beating hearts and repairing cells, as direct, tangible evidence of this grander operating power.
Now, our source text uses a very specific term for this exact phenomenon, hikmet. We translate this to wisdom or purpose. Basically, hikmet is the observance of benefit and purpose absolutely everywhere. It's in every human organ, every single bone that supports you, every vein carrying blood throughout your body, and it goes all the way down to the smallest individual cell. So the crucial takeaway here is that this philosophy grounds itself deeply in anatomy. It argues that even the most micro-level anatomy, those tiny, intricate structures we can only really comprehend with an electron microscope, is completely infused with macro-level purpose. Every single piece of your physical makeup has a role. Nothing is wasted at all. Nothing is just hanging around without a specific job to do.
Section 2. Anatomy and flawless function. The synthesis of science and philosophy.
Okay, now what's really interesting about this concept is how these ancient theological and philosophical claims perfectly intersect with the modern findings of anatomy and physiology. Our source text doesn't shy away from science. Actually, it synthesizes with it. When modern science looks through a microscope and identifies how a specific cell functions, this philosophical text looks at that exact same cell and sees hikmet, that purpose and wisdom. So let's break down the two opposing views here. On one hand, we have random development, the idea that things just sort of happen to fall into place over millions of years without a guiding intent. But contrast that with what we actually observe in the human body, specialized function and flawless harmony. When you compare the probability of purely random development against the flawless, incredibly purposeful harmony we see working in our nervous systems or our cellular repair mechanisms, the contrast is just staggering. I mean, think about the sheer statistical unlikelihood of random chance producing a system where millions of processes align every single second without fail. Every structure in the body is specialized for a precise function, so why does this matter for you and me as focused learners? Well, because this highly consistent biological purposefulness validates the philosophical premise we've been discussing. When modern anatomy confirms that there are absolutely no useless parts in the fundamental machinery of a cell, and that everything has a highly precise job, from the proteins folding in exact sequences to the mitochondria generating exact amounts of energy, it really takes the idea of random chance and makes it a highly improbable explanation. According to our source material, the idea that randomness could consistently produce such flawless intentionality remains a massive question that demands deep, critical thought. It challenges us to look at the undeniable order inside us and ask, could chaos really be its author?
Section 3. Creation in the most beautiful form. The macro perspective. So let's step back now for a second to look at the grand macro perspective. We've zoomed way in on the cells, the veins, the precise functions, and that philosophical concept of hikmet. Now we're examining how the source material pulls all of this intricate biological and philosophical evidence together into a grand theological conclusion. Our source brings us to this ultimate macro statement from the Qur'an, found in Surah At-Tin. It reads, "We have indeed created humanity in the most beautiful of forms." The text uses this as the ultimate summary of the intricate biological design framework we've just explored. And it's not just talking about external, aesthetic beauty here. Within the context of our explainer, this beautiful form refers to that flawless harmony, that infinite wisdom, the hikmet, operating on a microscopic level just to keep you alive and functioning perfectly. It's the ultimate synthesis of physical perfection and purposeful design, scaled all the way up to encompass the entire human experience.
We started this explainer by asking you to focus on the silent miracles happening inside you right now. And I want to leave you with this final, very personal thought. Think about the last time you got a minor cut or a scrape. Have you ever really watched a wound healing itself over the course of a few days? Watch the skin stitch itself back together perfectly, fighting off infection and regenerating tissue, all without you having to consciously direct a single cell? Have you ever looked at a function of your own body like that and thought, wow, how intelligently designed is this? Our source material today suggests that this exact feeling of awe, this realization of purpose in our own physical form, is the ultimate gateway to understanding a much grander wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep asking those deep, fascinating questions about the world inside you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.